Well, it's week 3, and once again I started shooting and everything got completely out of control. Originally I was going to do the video about Windows Movie Maker, about how it lets me focus on the story. You know, it's not overburdened with all these color corrections and all these, you know, advanced video editing things. But then I couldn't export Magic Lantern RAW as a movie file and then put it into so I gave up on that, and then I got obsessed with getting 50D RAW working well on the Magic Lantern 50D, on the 50D. Originally I was using so in these clips you'll see at first I use this Nikkor 35mm. I want to set it so if I set a certain physical focus I can just hold the camera and vlog. But then, you know, I'm worried either, you know, it's shut down, you know, card write error, or it's out of focus, so I gave up on that, even though I think it was sort of working. Then I just really started shooting, you know, around with the Canon 18-135. We went down to New York City. I'm still fussing with it. I'm getting card write errors occasionally, but it never so bad that I can't. You know, I'm still playing with the settings, trying to get it to work really well, but it works more often than not, and I think eventually I will solve it. And I love the look. It's just got a great look, great film look. And then it's also shooting with the Sony A5100, which I got for my daughter, but she's not using it. And it has a flip screen, so it's very easy to vlog. And I put my father's Leica 40mm f2 lens on it, which is a cool little lens. It's really, you know, it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's minimum focus. You can't get focus holding it like that. So I just use it to shoot Meryl and the kids, you know, doing stuff, and had a lot of fun. This is a neat little camera. So that's, you know, that's basically it for this past week. I'm now thinking, well, I read that the Canon 70D shoots Magic Lantern RAW. Okay, it's at 720p, but you know, that's fine for me. That's another thing I should say. When I was doing this a couple of years ago, I was always doing crop mode because I wanted to remove the aliasing issues that you have with this, but I've just been shooting full non-crop. So although there's lots of aliasing, I don't care anymore. I mean, I just want the color, like the lighting look. Anyway, I'm going to try the 70D next maybe because it has a flip screen. It shoots video natively, which the 70D, the 50D did not. You know, it has great dual pixel autofocus. So maybe we'll do that next week. I don't know. Anyway, on to the clips now of this past week of my messing with the Magic Lantern on the 50D and some Sony stuff and whatever. And see you next week. Thanks. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I have my Canon 50D here, which I'll be shooting Magic Lantern RAW. And I want, whenever I'm going to do a narration or something, I'll need to just set the focus manually because there's no real dependable autofocus in RAW. So I'm going to use this ruler that I made. These are free at Ace Hardware. So you just go to Ace Hardware and just take one. Look at these things. You never know when they'll change. And a half press. Start. Okay, it's running. I have the green thing. Put this over here. Why go to all this bother to shoot in raw video? I don't know. I think just because I grew up on film and that certain type of grainy look, I just always want to go back to that. It's my rosebud. So I've had 2 Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras, but every time I get them I never use them that much, so I just sell them. But whenever I start to do video, I always gravitate back, even though the video out of the Sony cameras is fantastic. For, you know, it still doesn't have that exact feel. Today's Thursday, December 8th. So I've been screwing around with this raw video for a bit on the 50D, trying to get it working right. It has this old Nikkor 35mm lens on the camera, sort of looks bitching. And right now I'm talking a lot. I'm like, you know, I'm really pushing it because the sensor's getting hot, and if it dies in the middle of this, I won't get anything back. So I'm going to stop right now. The thing about raw video is that it's capturing every single pixel and recording it. And so yeah, you see a lot of noise, but every pixel is accurate as far as the camera is seeing it. So that creates a true film look, because film is that way. It's just parts of grains and you get all the grains. Whereas in camera-based video, it's constantly taking all the pixels and averaging them together to give you a really clean look, which is great. Again, most camera 8-bit video looks great, but this looks truly like film because each pixel is true, even if it's a bad one. Here I am using my cell phone's voice recorder. I'm outside. I'm trying to get something in good light. I'm going to spin around here. That's the bookstore behind me. Should be in focus. Strap's getting in the way. And 19 seconds. And we'll sync this up. Let me see, what's another way I could do? Like, if I do 1, 2, 3. I use that to, oh, that's a good effect. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here I'm going to show you how easy it is to process RAW. So I copy MLV file, and then it's going to open up the MLRawViewer, which is just one great piece of software. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set the white balance. So I just click here and I'll pick a white part of the scene. Let's take this, will be good enough. Then you can control the exposure this way. This is very dimly lit, so it's not great, but I want to just put it up to here. And then right now I'm doing C-Log, but I can pick HDR global tone map. There are a bunch of different ones. I like either C-Log or HDR global tone map the best. Here I'll just use the C-Log. And then this can change, like if you want to see Bayer, see how it's going to look in the final product. You could put in amaze debayering, but it'll slow it down. If you want to look at it fast, just use bicubic, and then it can work fast. And then you want to, what's unfortunate thing, you need to know some secret keystrokes here. So you hit the W to set where your output directory is here. So I already have it here. If I want to change it, I can just go up and down with this. And then once I have it, X out of here, and that's where it'll put it. And then I just put add clip to export queue. I do that, and you'll see here it'll start showing that it's exporting. It doesn't show here. You can even play it here. It doesn't make a difference. It's totally separate. So generally, yep, I take the RAW from the 50D, I copy it over to drive. Sometimes I just do this part right on the card, and I just throw out the RAW thing on the card. And then I export it. You can see it exporting. And the video from here, this is like the most rudimentary color correction, but still the video I get from this, just doing the white balance here, the exposure here, this video is still going to look fantastic to me. What is my phone doing? Okay, well, let's hit this. I'm not sure what you mean by volunteer exposure here. This video's still gonna look fantastic to me. What's going on with my phone? It's Marilyn, the kids coming out of PetSmart. Marilyn's showing how Pepper didn't want to go in. Shooting mostly 50D RAW, and here we are in New York City. This is our weekend trip down to New York City to see the tree. And there's Thelma waiting in the hotel lobby. Here they are getting up. My experience is still, again, the 15D RAW is just, I just love it. I had various camera card read errors writing, but then they seem to clear up. Still working through that, but I think I'll finally, get it going well. This is Emma taking some pictures of some people, Grand Central Station. There's a shoot of these Japanese models going on, which you can see some going on. Now here I'm shooting in crop mode, so it's like 1900 by or 1800 by 900 pixels. And when you shoot in this mode, you don't get any aliasing because all the pixels are together, but it's like 4 times. And here's the Pete's Coffee, and here's in the hotel room. There you can see the A5100, which I show some clips from later. Here's the other end of Pete's. And here, this is where RAW really shows its benefit, because it can show both the outside and the inside without, well, it blows out. Obviously, it can blow out, but it's much more dynamic range. And then here's Emma. This is shot 1280 by 720 because I thought, okay, well, if I shoot in that way, maybe I won't have any card write errors, and I didn't. It just cracks me up when you look at her eyes. I don't think she's actually meaning to do that. She was laid down for breakfast, and Marilyn was in a rush. And then, yeah, so here I go back to the 1800 by 8, whatever it is. Then here's a display, Lauren Taylor. And then Marilyn was like, come here, you gotta look at this, you gotta look at this. And here's another display, and it's the screen in the background was having a computer error, so it was funny. You know, you have these, I'm sorry, super expensive displays. And here I'm at B&H, and I'm looking at the Ursa Mini, and here I'm trying to show like what size it is compared to my hand. It's a big camera. So I'd love to get one of these things, but you'd really have to commit. Here's the second floor of B&H. You know, this is where regular video is much better because you can see humongous aliasing issues here with the lights and the 50D RAW, and that's because the pixels and the camera are far apart. So the red isn't able to match up with the green and the blue and whatever. Now I just wanted to show you this type of footage. And that's a mannequin, but again, the RAW just gives a much better, nicer feel for it. Than, you know, just shooting video out of a camera. Okay, this camera doesn't, the memory card doesn't support XAVC, whatever. Anyway, so, but it was on MP4 1140 resolution. So I changed it to AVC HD, get better resolution, which I know if you look at the details looks better, but does it really? We'll have to see. Well, why am I even doing this? This week is about 50D RAW, and I'm shoot as much footage as I can with it.
Hard to drive in the snow. We should like stay here and start a fire. She's like, I want to go to this party with my friends. Like, pretty accurate. Although I'd be siding with the dude, it'd be like, oh wow.
Yeah, see, it's so great to have these modern focus zoom features that you don't have in Magic Lantern RAW.
Yeah, I don't think Dad's on the same planet we are.
No.
Is that a different level or
Is
like
it a dimension? A different dimension,
I don't know.
maybe. I don't know.
Some kind of level that's just
No, I am injured.
Yep. I want them to see all your black and blues.
I have a ton of makeup on.
That's what happens when you don't pay attention. You're walking down the crooked streets of Boston.
Dad's never tripped ever in his life.
Except
for when all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, Daddy's gonna take you on the Daddy non-anxious walk.
I like the non-anxious.
See, photography is very, very calming.
She's getting so mad. It's just
That's what I love about these, like these manual wide lenses. You get a really nice shallow depth of field.
No, not selling it. Ellie Golden. She's the one that takes pictures of women after like meetings and like
Nan Golden.
Nan Golden, that's who it is. She photographed. She did a photo shoot of the Aceto for a magazine. Yeah, she's cool.
I like Nan Golden.
I like her. Look like one of her victims. Thank you. Dad.
I just want to make clear that so I went down to New York. Well, the clips I put together in New York are first the Canon 50D RAW, Magic Lantern RAW. Those clips put together, and then I started shooting, or I put all the clips together, where I shot with the Sony A7 with that Leitz 40mm f2 lens. And right now I'm shooting with the EOS M, original one, with the 22mm lens, just a great camera, with an inexpensive lavalier. I noticed on this I had to set the audio manual all the way to high to get a good level. Every time I turn on and use a camera, there's always some setting that just never works the way you think it's going to work, but that's the photography life. Anyway, hope to see you next week, and I hope you enjoyed this week, even though it's very rambling and all over the place. Thanks.